Good morning. Isn't it nice to say good morning and to be here? Yes, welcome. Welcome. Thank you for coming, and welcome to all of you who are watching online. This is Claremont Center for Spiritual Living, and we are delighted that you are joining us, however that may be. And it's just nice to know we have a little sunshine, we have a little shade, we have a little garden, and we can be outdoors and together safely, at least now and again. So thank you all for coming. Yay is right, yeah. All right, well, let me get myself together here. Would you like to get yourselves together too? We have such a wonderful morning and some time to spend, and we're going to start like we always do with a moment of retrospection, introspection, a little bit of prayer, a reading from our practitioner of the week, the Mr. Brad Weathern. Yay is right. He's going to open us up, and I'm going to start us off with the sound of the bowl. So I'm going to invite you just to close your eyes. Wherever you are, take that deep breath. And let that sound take you within to that place in your heart that knows peace. That sanctuary within where the divine spark is ever present.
Thank you, Reverend Earlywine. I would like to have everyone come together now in the peace and tranquility of this beautiful garden. And let's know that the sun is shining and the temperature is absolutely perfect for a morning of self-discovery. So as we come together now, we know that we are one and one with the entire universe, with the God that is. It's a beautiful thought, and it's one that I take great humility in, knowing that I am here and the entire world is with me. As we know now, and then as we go deeper, think about everything that is happening in your life now. I want you to really go in, and I want you to feel all of the things that, not what is happening in the outside world, but the peace and tranquility that you have within you, and know that it is there and it can never be separated. You can never be separated from God. I love this beauty of this place, and I love the fact that we are able to once again gather and be here. We have been gone for a long time, but we are back now, and we know that all is well in the world. So pray with me now, and know that we are thankful for everything that is happening. Say with me quietly, and so it is. I have a reading this morning, and what I wanted to say was there was someone on Facebook, and I don't remember who it was, but they started doing on day 1 something that you are thankful for, and then on day 2 something that you are thankful for, and day 3 and day 4, and people that were reading it could put on that particular day what they were thankful for. And as I was looking at it the other day, I saw that it was up to day 135, and I thought, my word, 135 things. So when you sit in your house, some of us are isolated. I know that I don't go out too much, but as we do it, we know there are plenty of things to be thankful for. Here is my reading. It is because your mind has the prerogative of accepting or rejecting that the Bible states, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and sup with him, and he with me," unquote. Suppose with utmost simplicity you accept the Spirit that is in you, not in the mountain, not at Jerusalem, not even in the temple, although it is there also, but in you, the Spirit of yourself. Standing between this spirit, your physical body, and external affairs, there is the sum total of your thinking, believing, and feeling. Perhaps more than anyone understands or believes, the sum total of every man's thought is a mirage of the ages. It would be well to think of it this way, that you may not condemn yourself. You are like everyone else, quote, an infant crying in the night, unquote. Something trying to be made whole. Something with a deep yearning for security, a deep and unspeakable longing for love, for protection and peace. But the mind is filled with accumulated doubts of ages, as though a vast abyss of doubt and uncertainty were standing between you and your desires. Here is where science of mind can aid you, where your intellect may reach through to unite with your inspiration, where the conscious use of the laws of mind may break down the barriers which hide the face of love from the fact of unloveliness. And we are in a situation now that we can overcome with the help of science of mind. So everyone say with me now, I am grateful.
I am grateful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. I am grateful. Here's where we find ourselves today. This is the season of gratitude and giving. And I have to confess that there are moments when I just really don't feel like it. You know, I'm tired, I'm cranky, I'm tired of being tired, I'm tired of talking about it. You know, I just want to do what I want to do, and that's still not quite possible, at least not in every way. And then there are other moments when I applaud how creatively we're able to connect, and the kindnesses that I see, the you know, I don't know if you've noticed, but the caliber of the commercials on TV have gone way up. All of a sudden, we're all talking about how we're in this together, and to be kind and to reach out and to give where you can. And that giving where we can is a value that we share. And in this time of divisiveness and difficulty and just the length of time we've been at this pandemic and the isolation and the rules that keep changing and the fact that there's a lot of familiar things missing, creating a sense of loss and grief. The fact that we can even see that giving or being thankful or reaching out has value is something that brings us together. And isn't that what we're all craving? Something to bring us together. You know, the truth is we're still loved, we're still loving, we're still creative. Most of us are willing to make the effort, and we're a little tired of the struggle, right? My title today is Thanks Anyway. So when I started thinking about how to do a talk on gratitude in 2020, that's kind of where my mind went. It's like, kind of like thanks, but no thanks. Like, okay, there's gifts this year. Thanks anyway. You know, it's what we say when we ask for something and we don't get what we want, but we appreciate the effort the person put in to try to get it for us. You know, you need something from the store, they apologize, it's out of stock. Toilet paper, anybody? And it's like, well, thanks anyway. Thanks for looking. Thanks for checking in the back for me. I appreciate it. Or when you get a gift of something that somebody means well, but it's not something you can really use. It's like, oh, thank you for the avocado peeler. I'm allergic, but thank you anyway, right? Because we appreciate the intention and the thought and the givingness of the moment, even if the gift itself doesn't feel like it's ours. 2020 is kind of like that. And the thing about this year is that we've all felt fairly disempowered at different points of this particular journey. You see, when we're coping when we're managing, when we're having to figure things out so hard all the time. It can lead to feelings of helplessness or exhaustion or powerlessness or just loss. Just loss. There's just a lot of grief in the air for all different reasons. And in order to feel empowered, we have to have a way to get back to the place within ourselves that knows more than everyday life, that knows more than the human struggle, minute by minute, day by day. And the way we get there is we say thank you. Now, why do we say thank you when, this isn't so great? We say thank you because there's something in us that knows that the power at the core of our being is our ability to recognize and appreciate good. Because when we are able to recognize and appreciate what is good in others, in a situation, in ourselves, we are once again in touch with the power that lives within us. And this month we're talking about our superpowers. And the greatest of these is gratitude. So as we prepare and participate in the holidays that are coming up, in spite of the fact that they look so different than what we want or what we're used to or what we would like to be able to do, there is a way for us to truly experience this. And my quote is not on my platform, so I'll give it my best shot. It's Ernest Holmes. It's from The Science of Mind. In everything, give thanks. Gratitude is the chief grace in human experience, the crown of heaven, bringing us to a consciousness of unity. And I want to break that down for us today. I want to help us to truly understand why gratitude works and how it can work for us even now. In everything, give thanks. Now, Ernest Holmes is talking about a quote from the Christian scriptures. He's talking about something from the New Testament. In everything, give thanks. And what I want to point out here to begin with is that it's not for everything, give thanks. It's in everything, amidst everything. This human experience is one of chaos and divisiveness and separation and, swirl. There's anger, there's fear, there's loneliness, there's all these things going on. But even amidst all of that, there is a way to gratitude, a way to understand and appreciate life if we but shift our perspective a bit. My mom had a head injury 4 or 5 years ago that took her speech from her. My mother is beautiful and funny and articulate. She's a Science of Mind minister, so, she can talk. And now she's unable to easily, always, with new ideas. And I miss her. And I am not grateful for the injury that caused this problem, not at all. But when she takes my hand and looks at me, I get the same feeling I've always gotten from my mother. And for that, I am thankful. For that, I am able to find the connection. I'm able to see the representation of her love in ways I've always been able to feel them. And for that, I am grateful. So amidst this changed situation that I never would have asked for, I can find a way to give thanks. And what is that giving thanks? Well, thanks is this finding grace or pleasure in word and deed. It's a conscious awareness of kindness is given, of love expressed. Thanks is the way in which we tell someone that we have received their kindness, even if it's just telling life that we have received good or abundance or a flow from life. And to give thanks, to be in thanksgiving, is to say to ourselves, I have it to share. I'm telling myself that the love I'm giving is love I have, so it's not so bad after all, even though sometimes it feels like it. Gratitude. Gratitude is the chief among graces in the human experience. Ernest Holmes says that gratitude is causative. In other words, it's not just a response to something good that happens. I mean, sure, something nice happens, we're grateful. But gratitude as a sense of consciousness actually causes things to happen. Change your thinking, change your life, right? What you appreciate grows. So when we move into a place of appreciation for a person, place, or thing, we are feeding that. We are nurturing that. When we are grateful in our life anywhere, we are growing that aspect of our life. It is the path to good, not just a response to good. Chief graces, one of the chief graces. What is grace? Grace is an ease in the moment. It's a giving way to the flow of life without resistance. That sense of grace that we feel is a sense of peace and release and respite. Rest here for a moment. All things are well. All things are truly well. So when we are in a place of gratitude, a consciousness of gratitude, we are actually clearing a path for the abundant flow of life to move through and around us. And when we do that, we are opening ourselves to a greater experience of life, no matter what's going on outside. Crowned in heaven. Crowned in heaven. To crown something is to make it complete. You know, the crown chakra is that which communicates with the divine. It's our ethereal, spiritual connection to life. So to crown in heaven is to complete in the divinity that's already within us. In other words, bring our spiritual nature into our human experience. And isn't that what spiritual practice is all about? Helping us to be aware in a greater way so that we might live more fully and not get all tangled up in the weeds on the ground. Leading us to a consciousness of unity. The hardest things about the last 8 months, about the election cycle, about the cries for justice where injustice has prevailed for so long, the hardest things are that they make us feel separate from one another. They make us feel at odds with others, like we don't belong or they don't belong. Didn't ask you to be in my life. Go away. Pat and I were walking in a neighborhood that we're not familiar with, and somebody had all the Christmas stuff out on the lawn, right? And there was a tree stump that they'd used to make like a little fairy garden and, you know, little houses and whatever. Santa was coming out of the chimney, and he had a sign out that said, "Go away." Oh, that's just so wrong on so many levels. But I understood it because this house was on the corner that led to the entrance of the park and the trail for hiking. So, you know, people probably tried to cut across their lawn all the time or messed with their dog and made him bark and go away. And I thought, wow, this is it right here, right? It's this wanting to push back, to push away, to step back from the table instead of joining the banquet. Welcoming everyone. Being okay with being different. Not moving off your foundation of love because something out there is noisy. So this consciousness of unity is healing. And that human sense of loss and separation is painful. So if we want to find that peace within, if we want to get back to a place of sanctuary, then we're called in our teaching to move within once again and to recognize that the peaks and valleys of daily life do not change the truth that we exist in this consciousness of unity, that there can be no other way for us to live. I have a great book. If you're looking for something inspirational to give for Christmas, it's Oprah Winfrey's The Wisdom of Sundays, and it's life-changing insights from Super Soul Conversations. So she has a Sunday program where she interviews different people and talks about how they feel about life and how they are in life and what they would want to share with other people about what they've learned. So in talking about gratitude, grace and gratitude, she says, I know it's not easy to be grateful all the time, but I've learned that it's when you feel the least thankful that you are most in need of what gratitude can give you: perspective. And the image from her interview with Mark Nepo, one of my favorite writers, is perfect for this, I think. He says, he was writing just the other day about being grateful, thanking God that my experiences have hollowed me out. But I was never thankful while I was being hollowed out. When I've experienced difficult things with family or friends in life situation, it's very hard. I was not thankful for the pain at the time. I didn't want it to be there. But trying to hold the larger view at the same time is where gratitude lives. So let me give you an image. If you're at sea and you're in a raft and the swells of the sea are huge, when you are lifted to the top of a wave, you can see for eternity. When you come down into the belly of the wave, you can't see anything. The kind of gratitude we're talking about is not to deny the fact that you're in the belly of a wave and that the wave might crush you, but to never lose sight of the horizon, even though in the moment you are not seeing it. And so we have certainly had a year of the peak of the wave and the belly of the wave. And we have gone, most of us, up and down many, 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 many times. And you know what? It's not over yet. It's not over yet. And so our call is to remain aware and conscious of that horizon, of that infinite possibility that we live in, and to bring ourselves to a place of healing, to a place of understanding. You see, gratitude is our path. Gratitude is a form of self-care. So as you're moving through the holidays, it's very important that you are taking care of yourself. You know, when you're grateful, when you write a thank you note, when you make a phone call, you lift your own spirits, right? Think about the last time you did something nice for somebody. You kind of felt kind of good afterwards, in spite of it all that other stuff, right? The same thing when we receive or recognize a kindness given to us, it eases our experience of life. That's the grace moving in because gratitude opens the door. I think I've told the story before, but when I was an exchange student in Switzerland, I was only 17. I was thousands of miles from home, and it was all great and all new and all fun, and it was beautiful, and I was thousands of miles from home and my mother and my friends, and we didn't have the internet, and there was no Facebook, so there were letters. You know how long it takes for letters to go to Europe? So I was pretty homesick at one point, and my Swiss mom went to the international store and brought home a little present for me and set it in the middle of my bed. And I came home from school, and there was this little tiny jar of peanut butter. They don't do peanut butter in Switzerland, trust me. Peanut butter. It was a kindness extended that opened my heart, that brought me back into the present moment, that allowed me to find my peace right where I was, to feel seen and heard, to be loved, and to be willing to be present in love, as love, right where I was. This is the gift of gratitude. This is the power that we own to lift our own spirits, to bring ourselves, as Holmes says, out of despair and into a consciousness of oneness. So take a moment right now. Close your eyes for a moment And find a place or a person, present or past, that you're grateful for. Something where your heart is full of thankfulness. And feel that in your body. Feel that gratitude in your body. Notice where it is. Notice that that feeling is coming from within you as you remember. And I want you to bring that feeling with you back into this moment, into this world as you open your eyes. Now, I would say that you were smiling as you found that place. It's hard to tell with masks on. But I could see your eyes crinkle just a little bit. Henry Van Dyke tells us that gratitude is the inward feeling of kindness received. Thankfulness is the natural impulse to express that feeling, and thanksgiving is the following of that impulse. So this holiday season, I want you to find and appreciate the great fullness of your life, the fullness of life that is still yours, even now, even this year, so that you don't say thanks anyway, but you actually say thanks in every way, thanks in everything. Giving thanks in everything. So this holiday, go with gratitude. Your peace is there. Namaste. All right, so let's take a moment of prayer. Closing your eyes and taking that deep breath. And feeling into your heart space, that place within where there is peace, there is a moment of rest, there is an appreciation for the love and the light in your world. For what I know is that this life that Spirit is the very life of each of us, the very breath that breathes us. And that Spirit by its very nature is loving, is wisdom and peace. It is a deep joy and a givingness that nourishes all of life, that nourishes us. And so in this moment, I speak my word for the continued unfolding of reasons to be grateful and our power to be aware of the good in life amidst anything and everything. I speak my word for the truth of life to show up for each of us as we can best experience and see it. In love as love, in joy as joy. Whether we are together or apart, in person or connected via technology, whether we are inside or outside, wherever we are, we find ourselves in the presence of Spirit, and that Spirit is one of grace and abundant flow and ease of living. And so for each of us, I know healing, I know wholeness, I know the unfolding of perfection in all of its many ways. I speak a word for these holidays to be a time for reflection and rejuvenation, no matter how they look. For the heart of love beats within each of us. And in great gratitude, in an appreciation for the great fullness of life, I release my word into law, for I know that in the mind of God, it is all good and unfolding here and now in its perfect timing for each of us, as each of us. It can only be so, for it can only be the spiritual truth. And so it is. All right, I have an affirmation for us. I'm going to invite you to repeat after me. even here, even now, even this year,
even here, even now, even this year,
I am grateful.
I am grateful.
I celebrate the giving of thanks
I celebrate the giving of thanks
as the power of good in my life.
as the power of good in my life.
And together we say, and so it is. All right. So a couple things coming up. The main thing that I want to tell you about is our interfaith service next Wednesday night. Claremont Interfaith Council hosts an annual interfaith service. Now, normally we have a gratitude service here at the center. This year we're going to join our interfaith community online. The keynote speaker is Reverend Jesse Smith. It's a hard last name to remember. Reverend Jessie is from St. Ambrose Episcopalian Church. She is going to be the speaker, and she is just delightful. Some of you may remember from a couple years ago when Drac came to our Wednesday night services. He's actually a religious science practitioner who's going to the Claremont School of Theology. So his wife is the priest at St. Andrews. So it's going to be a lovely evening. There's other speakers from other faith traditions. It's going to be streamed on Facebook Live. So if Facebook is not something you normally do, find somebody who does and arrange a safe distance watch party so that you might take part in the service. It's a wonderful group, and it's sure to be a lovely, lovely evening. The details are in the e-blast and also on the website. So I invite you to take a look, or you can just go look up the Claremont Interfaith Council and you'll see the flyer there as well. We have an opportunity every year at the end of the year to express our gratitude for our spiritual community. And so I am asking you and reminding you that this is the time of year when we refill our resources. We take the one source of all good things and put it into practice in our community through your financial contributions. And we do this giving all year long. And we have been able to maintain in this crazy year all that we have needed to. And what we know is that at the end of the year, it's good to finish strong. It's good to have a little extra money in the bank. It's good to make sure that we are clear and free for whatever 2021 wants to bring. Because as we found out this year, we don't always know what the year will bring, do we? So if it's in your heart and in your budget, please consider giving us an end of year contribution. It's something that will allow us to continue to do outreach, to do spiritual work, and continue to find creative ways to connect, since obviously this is the way we're going to be for a little bit while longer. So do that. If you know that you receive from this center, then show your appreciation in a way that allows us to continue. And thank you for all that you do. For our volunteers that make Sunday morning possible, for the people that are behind the scenes that we haven't seen in a while, like Jeff, our music director, who puts all of this together and gets it posted for everybody, for Andy in the office, who is here during the week when no one else is, keeping things going, for Bobby over there who shows up on Sunday, woohoo! But all during the week, he's going around, doing the really exciting work of church, like, flushing toilets and making sure the water still runs and, watering the plants and all the things that we need to do to keep our community ready for when we are able to rejoin each other on a regular basis. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone who volunteers. Thank you to all of you who come and participate. I am so grateful, and you are so loved. Namaste.